Thanks for the super chat, asshole. I love taking my anger out on haters. Hey guys!
Hey Amber.
They saw my tum-tum! The moon landing didn't happen. Are you actually gonna wear that?
Okay, fine. You're the queen of lolcows. Well done, you.
Did she spray Pam on the food?
That ass, though. I am the worst YouTuber ever.
The whole time we were together, we did not go to the bed.
Hey folks, what's good? I'm Professor Dietz, and welcome back to our continuing history lessons with Destiny. In 2023, Destiny came back to YouTube, and she decided that she wanted to tell her side of the story about her relationship with Amberlynn. And seeing as Destiny has decided to come back to YouTube again, I thought it would be a good idea to brush up on our history. So, we are rewatching all of those videos that she created in 2023. This is the third video in my personal series so far, and we have gotten through 2015 and the first quarter or so of 2016 in the first two videos. This one is now picking up around, I think it was March or April of 2016. It's April. And we're gonna get through the end of June. So if you do prefer to go in chronological order and you missed the first two videos in my series, you can feel free and go back, watch those first. But otherwise, we're really just, letting Destiny talk, listening to her story, and seeing what she has to say versus what Amber had to say. To make it a little bit more interesting, I also have pulled a few videos from Amber's channel just to see how similar her side of the story was. And I'm also, of course, offering my own commentary and thoughts as we go. As I always do, there will be timestamps offered in the description down below if you wanted to skip to a specific part of the video. And yes, of course, there will be a Corgi Cam at the end. I don't think we really need to talk about this too much. We were already on a roll, so let's just keep going. Let Destiny take it away. We left off with Destiny talking about how it was true that Amberlynn saved her baby brother's life, way back when they were kids, and her brother was just a baby, and the cord got wrapped around his neck. And I kind of got on a side quest about how we really can't always believe what Destiny's saying simply because, Destiny wasn't there. She didn't see what happened. And so we can't really just take that as truth just because it's coming from Destiny's mouth. All right, that's where we left off. Let's pick this up again and see what Destiny has to say next.
That's also when we started taking Twinkie to work with us a lot. She just would chill, and the residents loved it. Let's see, I think this is on this. There's a lot that happened in April, actually. This is also when we tried to say that we thought our lease was going to be up. I think it was May 7th. And we were going to just put everything in storage and stay with my grandma, but when we went to put in our notice, they tried to say that we had to have a 90-day notice, and I was kind of upset about that. So
90 days is a very long time. Has anybody else ever had to give 90 days notice for moving out of anywhere? I definitely haven't, but I definitely haven't lived everywhere either. So I don't know what is common in other places, but in places that I have lived, I have had to give. There was 1 month, and then in another place, there were 2-month notices. I haven't generally lived in larger cities, but where I have run into that, they were generally larger cities. So anyway, I just feel like 90 days is a very long time. I don't know what you guys think.
I called my dad just because he knows a lot of stuff about that kind of stuff. So I called him, talked to him about it. He came down there and he said, first of all, I've never heard of you having to really do a 90-day.
Right, okay.
Notice that you're going to be moving out. Maybe 60, but it's usually around 30. He was like...
So we agree on that.
And he did say it was our fault for not paying attention, but he also said it said in our lease that they were supposed to notify us when there was 90 days left, and they did not. So it was also their fault.
Wow, another time where I'm here for Destiny's dad, helping her learn how to adult. And it is nice to hear about a father that is there for their kid, even if you know, don't necessarily love every aspect of their personality and things they've done in the past. You know, I can kind of look at things on an individual basis. And once again, this is great. This is really good to see, or to hear, I guess.
Our apartment flooded really bad at this point too, and we were talking to them right after this, and explaining that we didn't really need to be in that apartment, but we didn't have anywhere else to go, but there was mold growing all in that room, so we had to keep it closed off, and we were just worried about it just spreading to the whole place.
Yeah, you should definitely be worried about that, and not just spreading to the place, but breathing in the spores. That had to be so unhealthy living in that place. I can't imagine. And I don't know, I feel like infections, whether they be bacterial, like on the skin, you know, let's just think about Amber's excoriation for a second. I mean, maybe we don't want to, but it had to have been so gross. If she was picking at scabs and living in this place where there was mold growing, ugh, gross. I don't want to think about it anymore. We have to move on.
And then the bra scandal. I don't think she even has these bras anymore, but the bra...
At least we get something good kind of kicking this one off in the beginning, at least, right?
Bras that you guys would always give her crap for wearing, she only had 2 of them. I don't remember how many she said she had, but she had 2 of the same exact bra, because it was the only one that she liked and it fit her, whatever it was. She had them for a long time.
How many did Amber say that she had? 4? 6? Everyone knew that was a lie.
This has been too much of a hot topic for me not to talk about it. I have a new bra. White with the polka dots.
It's like, why, Amber? Why? Why are you lying about this in the first place? You don't have to. All you have to do is make sure you wash them more often. And I know she wasn't going to do that.
My bra is not that important.
The topics that have come up over the years that Amber has just double and triple down on when everyone knows she's lying. Ugh, just wild.
The apartment started to look very rough at this point, just because we had to live out of the living room. Let's see. This is also towards the end of April is when she really started to do a lot of the mukbang videos.
Yeah, and I think this is when she really had her biggest growth spurt, right? As far as her subscriber count is concerned. Her channel grew a lot real quick when she started doing those. And of course, you know, we all know that those are the videos. Well, they're not the only videos, but those are definitely part of the reason why she is now demonetized and has just removed everything from her channel.
Amberlynn really did go to college when she lived in Arizona. I'm not going to get too much into detail with it, but she did have student loans. When she started working with me, about 2 or 3 months after she started working, they started to garnish her wages for it. So she ended up calling them and setting up a payment plan with them.
And now, these days, Amber talks about how she's always paid all her bills and never gotten into trouble with anything about that. So not only was it affecting how much money she was making, but it was affecting her credit score and everything else. Like, this is a domino effect in life. And she just really screwed herself, because I think there were also some hospital bills that she never paid, right? And here is just yet another reason why I think Amber must have been getting an allowance from Crystal's parents at this point in her life, because not only was she making less than $9 an hour at a job where she only worked, 8 to 12 hours a week, but they were probably taking most of that money away from her. There's no way that they could afford to go to Denny's every night, to go to that Chinese restaurant, to go to Walmart and spend money there, to just spend the money that they were spending purely on Destiny's wages. There's no way. And that's also like when Destiny says, you know, Amber was managing the money. I don't know how she did it, but she did.
I don't know how we really survived at that apartment. Like, I don't know. Like, she managed the money. I don't know how she managed the money, but she did.
Destiny doesn't know how she did it, right? So she probably is not aware of the fact that Amber was probably getting an allowance, and that's how Amber was doing it. It only makes sense that way. I'm convinced of it. I am. I'm totally convinced that Crystal's parents was giving her an allowance for at least a year.
Let's see. This is when I got the pet tree frog. I think his name was Free. I talked about how I wanted a Pac-Man frog. Man, I still want a Pac-Man frog, but it's a lot of effort, and not saying that I wouldn't want to do it, but I don't know. I've never just done it. It's just a lot of work.
And you know what? Thank you, Destiny, for knowing that about yourself and for not getting a pet that you are not prepared to take care of. That is responsible. That is how Amber should be behaving with her pets. She should not be getting them because she doesn't take care of them the way they should be taken care of.
With that frog, keeping it, we argued about that for me keeping it, which was kind of on my end of my fault. I shouldn't have tried to keep a tree frog from outside. Like, I didn't really, like I was just saying with the Pac-Man frog. It's a lot of work, it's...
That's right, Destiny.
This, that, and the other, so... we argued about it a lot, though, and then she finally just let me do it, and then we ended up letting him go, so... you see me go to my first gynecologist appointment, and I explained my cramping and cysts and stuff. Then you think of an ultrasound at a gynecologist, you think of one on your belly,
No, that's not what I think about. I think those of us who have had them knows what to think about, and it's not that.
On your uterus. No, it was I don't know how to say it, in utero one, and that hurt.
That does hurt.
Especially because she kept shoving it to this is my left. She kept shoving it to the left side, saying that she couldn't find my left fallopian tube. I don't know. It really hurt, and she ended up finding it and stopping.
Oh, let's call it a wand, shall we? Yeah, a wand. It's not a magic wand, though.
This is when she talks about living in Oklahoma. She did live with her aunt at first and her mom, and then they moved in with her grandma. Her and her mom did. She went to visit the person she was with at the time in Arizona. She was only supposed to be there a month, ended up living there because her grandma said she couldn't come back. I don't know that much on that kind of stuff, like the whole scandal with the person that lived in Arizona and her. I don't know. I only know what she told you guys because that's what she told me. So I'm not gonna get into that.
That is interesting that Destiny finally just kind of admitted that all she knows is what Amber told her, at least for things that Destiny wasn't there for, right? So it's interesting that Destiny kind of realized that in that moment and said it out loud. I do wonder, though, just how many stories that Amber told her Destiny realizes are just that, stories that Amber told her, Because the way that Destiny just said that, I'm not convinced that she thinks that Amber was lying. She just said, all I know is what Amber told me. And there is a difference between those two things.
Let's see. I think this is when Amberlynn had talked about, I think someone asked her about who she would want to propose, like if she wanted to or if I wanted to, and she was saying hopefully I would want to. I never proposed to her because we literally fought so much, and I wasn't sure if we would ever truly be happy together, because there was just so much fighting and tension, obviously off camera. We'd have good times, but the bad times were starting to outweigh the good times.
This is what I'd like to hear more about. What was your life really like off camera? Not just generally like you just said, right, where we were fighting a lot. I want to know what you were fighting about specifically. You know, I'm curious as to what set her off the most. I hope that you do tell us more about that coming up, as long as it doesn't, give you PTSD. I wouldn't want you to be telling stories and reliving trauma that you don't need to relive. But if it's cathartic, great. Get it out. Tell us what you have to tell us. And we're here to listen.
This is also around the time we started having some drama with her aunt. Her aunt essentially just became very upset with her and blocked her on everything because she was never sticking to any diets and she was constantly basically self-destructing herself.
The truth is, it's because I'm fat.
She was constantly, and I mean, she's still obviously dealing with that now. So I don't know how her and her aunt's relationship is now, but it is what it is.
Well, Destiny, we all know how their relationship is now, and it's not good.
We were trying to spend time with Libby and Nick. Nick and I still kept in touch once we moved away. And at one point, I want to say it was after me and Amberlynn had broke up, but he had moved to Indiana, and I think we were trying to meet up at one point, but I'm not sure, like, if he was saying he was going to, and then we ended up not, I don't know. But I actually just talked to him the other day about some stuff, so.
This guy was so, I don't know, I got the ick from this guy in the way that he kind of leered at Libby and he creeped me out. And the fact that Destiny just didn't see it, so much so that she is still talking to him in 2023. Whew, I don't know, is it just me? Am I the only one who gets this really bad feeling from those scenes with Nick? Because he really creeped me out. I just saw him looking and not blinking. And the way he was hitting Libby's hands over and over again, so much that they were red, and she kept saying she wanted to stop and he wouldn't let her. Like, everything about him was creepy to me. But I don't know. I'm not right all the time, that's for damn sure. And I certainly don't know him in person. So all I know is what I saw in videos. And what I saw in videos, I didn't like.
I think he lives in Ohio now, actually. This is also when we started to train our replacements for our job. I said, I swear we went to Walmart more, or we spent more time at Walmart than we spent at home.
All right, I'm ready to hit the fishing boat.
This is also when she started making her soup chili, everything in a pot, goulash stuff. I did not ever really try these. That was gross.
Man, I mean, sink water soups were so disgusting. I don't know why she had to throw literally everything into a pot. Ugh. But hey, Destiny put her foot down and was like, no thank you, and good. You do not need to eat that.
And this is also, we found out what prison her mom had went to, and she started, trying to get a hold of her, all that.
Trying to get a hold of her. Did she, though?
Did you write your mom? No.
Leaving our jobs was really sad. That was my first job I ever had. It really did stink. I loved that job.
I am exhausted. I've worked 5 days in a row. I love working here, but it's really, really hard. And I finally have some days off coming up. So I'm happy about that. Like, that is a plus. I look literally like a hot mess. Like, if you looked up hot mess in the dictionary, you'd see a big old picture of me.
I'm definitely not in the career to be taking care of people anymore. I mean, that was my first job, and I kept doing that kind of job, and you just get burned out on that kind of stuff.
No, that is true. It is a tough job taking care of patients, especially patients who, may not be able to do much. They need a lot of care.
Amberlynn talked about being nervous about living with my mom because she liked living on her own, didn't want to be under someone else's rules, wanted to do what she wanted to do. That comes to a head at one point. This is also when, I don't know why, but she was trying to eat less meat.
I watched Food Inc. today, like right now. I'm gonna watch Forks Over Knives, and then if I have time or if I'm feeling like it, I'm gonna watch Cowspiracy.
We were getting ready for my mom and stepdad and a lot of my family to come down because my sister was graduating, and we were getting the U-Haul and getting everything ready to move. We stayed at a beach house for about 4 days. When it came to the U-Haul, we were worried about it, paying for it, because that's when U-Hauls were expensive. When I had to get one when we moved to Kentucky the second time, it was only like a couple $100s. But the U-Haul, when we got this one, we even got a budget truck trying to make it cheaper. It was still so much. Her foster mom, the last foster mom she had before she turned 18, she was with for a long time, she ended up helping us with that. So there was that.
Yeah, I do remember learning this. And I think the most interesting part of that for me is the fact that Amber maintained some kind of good relationship with this person. Amber lived in their house for I don't know how long, but I mean, Destiny did just say for a while, for a long time. So it's like hard to believe that Amber lived anywhere for a long time and came away from that in a good relationship with somebody. Have we ever seen that? At least in a real and authentic way. And it also makes me curious about that last foster home she was in and what the circumstances were there, how many people were there. She doesn't really talk about her foster experience with specifics. It's just kind of generalized. I'm not one to really have any kind of an opinion about any foster experiences because I've never had one myself and I just don't know enough to talk about it. But I will say it does make me curious to learn more about Amber's, because just knowing Amber and who she is as a person and how she lies, what her strategies are and her narrative, I would go ahead and guess that it's a possibility that her foster experiences, at least some of them, could have been better than she leads us to believe. And if she were to tell us more of the detail of staying with these people and how it all went, maybe it would actually sound better and thus take away from her narrative of having this horrible childhood where she had nothing, was always in conflict, etc. Just trauma, trauma, trauma. And look, I'm not saying that Amber didn't have a really tough childhood, okay? I'm not going to take that away. I don't know. I wasn't there. We know Amber, and we know she likes to be the victim. So it is a question that I have. Why won't she tell us more about her actual experience in the foster system? I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on this.
Libby and my cousin Tyler, they hit it off kind of good. They liked each other, whatever, for a little while. I don't think they ever worked together or anything, but my cousin obviously went back with us when we went to Kentucky, and he joined the Marines. But he did say that he tried to keep in touch with her. And then we go to June. I drove to Kentucky. The drive was it was okay. The only thing that sucked is my car at the time didn't have cruise control. So that sucked. So it was just a matter of holding down the gas for so long, and my foot was getting tired, but that's about it. And Wasabi was kind of irritated, but it was okay.
And even worse than not having cruise control is if you drive stick shift and you hit traffic for any, long amount of time, that stop and go with the clutch. I would start getting a cramp in my right leg and my calf whenever I got stuck in traffic, actual cramping. And also that note about Wasabi being really irritated in the car, this long drive to a new place. That definitely has a little bit more meaning now, doesn't it?
I'm in here because Wasabi is freaking out.
Amber was aware of the fact that cats don't like these long trips. I mean, in this case, they were moving, so they really didn't have a choice, but I'm just talking about doing it voluntarily when you don't have to.
I got very emotional when we went to leave as well. before we went on the big drive. I thought I was fine until literally we were trying to walk out the door, which we left kind of late. We didn't leave early in the morning like I wanted to, but it was fine. When we were trying to go out the door, my sister just started, bawling, crying, and that made me cry, made my grandma cry, made all of us just be in one pile crying. So
another update from Amberlynn. Oh my god, saying goodbye to Destiny's family like in Florida was really hard, and like what made it like the hardest was Destiny's sister cried so hard, and it literally came out of nowhere, and then it made everyone start crying, like Destiny and her grandma and her mom and like me, and like it just made everyone cry, and it was so hard to see, and I was like, oh my god.
Is it just me, or does she actually just look annoyed about it? Like, she didn't want to have to sit there and watch everybody cry over the fact that Destiny was leaving. Because, well, probably because they weren't fawning over her. I'm just getting that from this whole scene where she looks off to the side, trying to pretend that it was sad, but in reality, she just was annoyed by it.
But the goodbyes have happened.
there was that. Then also on the drive, I felt like I could barely keep up with my mom in that minivan she was driving. It was getting ridiculous. But we got there.
Ooh, driving caravan style can be dangerous, especially when people don't know how to do it safely. If Destiny was trying to keep up with her mom should have been driving slower. I'm sorry, but it's really dangerous trying to speed faster than you're comfortable going just to keep up with somebody else. I don't like driving caravan style for that reason, because I feel like there's always like at least one person in the caravan that doesn't get it.
Then when we got to my mom lives literally in a mountain. There's no service, no cell phone service, and it's 30 minutes to go anywhere. It's awful. And trying to move everything in, I think Amberlynn her foot was swollen at one point. I don't think she actually hurt it. I think she said she did, but I know she had like plantar fasciitis. She never remembered the second word to that. So, I don't remember what is the actual thing for that, but she called it a heel spur. That was not what it was.
Yeah, and it looks like Destiny doesn't believe a damn thing that Amber was saying either. I think Amber was just being lazy, didn't want to do any work, and made up an injury to get out of it.
Today's the day when we're gonna unpack everything. I can't help them, which makes me upset. I helped pack the truck yesterday, but for some reason my left foot has been getting kind of swollen in the last week.
And then she looks off to the side and purses her lips because guess what? She's trying to figure out what to say next because it's probably not true.
And that's the same foot with my heel spur, but I've had my heel spur for a year. And the swelling just started, and heel spurs don't really have swelling, so I don't really know what's wrong. I can show you guys, I guess, and so I'll show you how my foot usually looks, and then I'll show you how my other foot looks. And I was planning on going to the hospital today, but I really just I don't know what to do. But this is how my foot normally looks, fat chunky foot, and then this one is like this. It's really bad.
Look, I'm no doctor, but I really don't see a difference here. And this, as she just said, is something she was considering going to the ER for. And by the way, plantar fasciitis.
So, you got diabetes.
I think that her foot was swollen from the altitude of driving because we had to drive up a mountain in Tennessee, come back down it, and then go back up a mountain. So I think that's what made her swell.
I wonder if that was the beginning of her lipedema, right? If she was really swelling a lot but didn't understand why. I don't remember when she first said she had lipedema.
But she did fall at one point, and I think that's when she really hurt her foot, but this was before she had fallen, so. We had to put most of our big furniture into storage. Except for our bed. That was the only thing that we got to put in our room because we needed that, obviously. We had an appointment with her first weight loss program that she wanted to go to. It was called Ageless Weight Loss. My stepdad's, one of his very good friends had done that, and he lost so much weight on it, and it was a really good little thing. But I know that we said we could afford the payments when the lady told us the payment every month, but at the end of it, she said the down payment had to be like, I think it was $2,000. So then we told her that we would think about it, and I think we were thinking about saving up for it. But then on the way back from that appointment, my mom talked about this other weight loss program, so I think we just went ahead and tried that instead.
$2,000 just as a down payment? That's a lot of money. It makes it very inaccessible for a lot of people.
It was a program where you would eat mainly shakes throughout the day. You ate, was it 6 times a day, I think? No, it was 8 times a day, actually, I remember now. You had 5 shakes a day, and then you had 1 protein bar, and you had one of their meals, like a little meal entry, and then you got to make your own meal at home, which really was just 3 ounces of a lean meat and a side of like broccoli or something.
I'm glad to hear that they didn't save up for that, because we all know that Amber would have just given up on it, day 2, 3, and that $2,000 would have been completely wasted when they don't have a lot of money to begin with.
It was very large chunk of money, and I was completely surprised at how much it costed.
Amberlynn also had some doubts because she felt like the calorie intake that they were giving for that there just wasn't enough.
And there it is. At least Amber had the foresight on this one. Yes, she wasted a lot of money over the years on diets she was never planning to follow.
I was living in fear, and I was trying to find tons of excuses to quit. I'm gonna be honest, I was trying to find every excuse to quit, and I found one.
That is a lot of money. So I'm glad to hear that she basically said she didn't want to do it without using those words. We all know that if the calories are too low, the intake is too low, Amber is not going to be interested.
So I got a little freaked out.
Ugh, $2,000, damn.
The stairs at my mom's house are super sketchy. My stepdad's dad, so my step-grandpa, built that house. It was his granny's house, and that was just the front of the house, the bathroom and the kitchen. That was like the whole house. And they built the back of it, so the stairs, the living room, and that bedroom downstairs. So the stairs, I don't know if he just didn't measure right or what, but it was literally like going up a ladder. It was awful.
Yeah, those stairs were really wild. I will give them that. Amber made a video demonstrating how she got up and down those stairs. I, to this day, cannot possibly understand why she decided to make that video. I think she wanted to prove that she could do it, but in doing so, she proved that really she couldn't do it very easily or well, and it was extremely difficult for her, which I think only worked against her, because now people are looking at Amber doing this and saying, you need to make changes. Those stairs did look dangerous though, and I'm glad that I don't have them in my house.
And then another thing with being at my mom had it wasn't a clawfoot bathtub, but it wasn't like a normal bathtub. I don't know how else to explain it. You see it in the videos a lot. Amberlynn did not shower the whole time we were at my mom's.
Is that possibly the most famous, infamous, I'm not sure which, quote from this video? Again, it's because Amber makes such a big deal out of the fact that she does bathe herself, that when you hear something like this, it's like 10 times worse because of it. I mean, yeah, sure, nobody wants to hear that somebody isn't bathing themselves, but Amber just makes her life so much worse by lying about everything.
She did not like the bathtub. she refused to even try to get it in. I think she was having a hard time getting her leg over it. It was the thing, because it is pretty high sides. And she just basically, whore bathed. She just, she washed her hair. I'd help her wash her hair over the shower. And she just kind of washed with washcloths and wore plenty of deodorant. That's
Not washcloths. Oh no. Ugh. I don't want to talk about it. Nope.
That's what she did. I said Amberlynn wants to go to the hospital over any and every little thing. I don't know. Could just be anything, and she'd be like, "I think I need to go to the hospital," and she was kind of becoming a hypochondriac, and I had to just be like, "Stop."
Well, that and wasting the resources at the ER, right? We've had that conversation before. It's not new. But the fact that Amber basically just refuses to get a primary care physician and instead just goes to the ER whenever something's wrong, or she perceives something might be wrong, or she makes up something that is not wrong, she goes to the ER and she's wasting the resources there. It's horrible. There are actually people who need to be taken care of and are using the ER appropriately. Okay, rant over.
So this video is starting to get long, so I'll probably finish. Oh my gosh, there's so much. There's only a couple more pages left for June, so I'll finish up June and then I'll probably make a part 2. Okay, we started to watch My God Sister a lot. That's who that little girl is in a lot of the videos. Then we went to the next weight loss place with it was weight loss pills. It was phentermine.
I googled it. There are some really bad side effects, and that is what I do not like. And I was really scared. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. This doesn't seem right. Like, this lady is pissing me off. Like, I've never known. She's completely rude. I feel like if you're doing a customer service job, you need to respect the people who are doing, like, who are there, who are your customers. And she wasn't at all. She was like telling me the things that it was going to do to me. She was telling me how I should eat. She said, do 1,200 calories, no flour, no anything white, no potatoes, no peas, no corn. And I was just like, I was blocked off at the point. So it was pretty much going on one ear, not the other. I knew right then and there I did not want to do the pill. So they got into my head and I said, fine, I'll take the fucking pill. Like, I'll do it, fine.
We both did this. Let me tell you, that stuff works. It's probably a little dangerous, but it does work. I remember the first day I took it, I took a whole one. I should not have. But I took a whole one because I wanted to make sure it worked. And, I mean, I have ADD. I don't have ADHD. I have ADD. And usually that kind of stuff, like, nothing makes me, like, hyper. I don't know. I literally, like, unpacked 98% of our room the day I took that whole one, and I didn't realize how many hours had gone by, and I hadn't eaten anything. Like, I don't know, it was crazy. It was a crazy day. But it gave me so much energy, and I had no appetite, and I had to literally make myself eat. Amberlynn only took it, I think, for a couple days. It gave her, like, opposite symptoms than she was supposed to have. It made her sleepy. She didn't have any energy with it, and then she was also worried about her blood pressure, so that's why she stopped. At one point, she talks about how she's not going to ride the scooters anymore, that she needs to stop, even though she was complaining about her foot hurting. She was just too embarrassed to ride them in front of my family.
Oh, because they were actually telling her that she shouldn't be using them because she doesn't actually need them. Destiny and her family really are the ones that told Amber what she needed to hear, I think, the most out of everyone in her life that we've seen on YouTube.
My brother, we started hanging out with him a lot. We started planning my birthday, my 21st birthday cake smash photo shoot thing. We found someone had posted that they had done it on Facebook, and it was like, a gone viral thing, and I just thought that was so cool. My mom was like, we should definitely do that.
That photo shoot. Oh, like, truly, It offered us so much entertainment, and it still does to this day. Like, that photo shoot was so funny.
This is also around the time my mom and Amberlynn start getting into a lot of spats about stuff. They started arguing quite a bit.
Yeah, this is the woman that Amber says she had such a good relationship with, right? Relatively recently. It was within the last year, and I think it was one of her live streams. I don't remember when she said it, but she was talking about such a great relation she had with every single one of her partner's parents, which we all know is a total lie.
We were both training to work at a place called Source HOV, which was data entry, which I absolutely loved. But I remember saying, like, YouTube is also important to me, and it's something that I would love to do. So if I was weighing out my options, and Mendy was in the living room, and she heard me and Destiny talk, and she got upset with what I was saying. And she was saying how she didn't agree with me doing YouTube and didn't think that I should do it and didn't want me to stay at home and just like gain all this weight and all this stuff. And I said, this is none of your business. Mendy got really mad. And she said, you know what, then I want you to leave. She was like kicking me out. I remember she went all the way upstairs. She started grabbing my perfume. And I think she threw like 2 down the stairs, 2 of my perfumes. And I started screaming. I said something that I can't remember. If Destiny can remember, I would love for her to share that. But I think I blacked out. It felt like I did, because the next thing I knew, she started like literally punching me, slapping me. And I remember falling to the ground, and she got a K cup, which was metal, and it was pretty big. And she was hitting me over the head with it.
And we have other people like Destiny and Casey, etc., saying, no, they were fighting a lot.
Amberlynn's she's very set in her way or no way kind of deal. I don't know. That's just...
Yeah, the most pleasant person in the world. So easy to get along with. Everybody loves her. She always smells so good, and everybody compliments her all the time. Nothing wrong with Amberlynn. She's perfect.
She doesn't care, like, if she disrespects you, basically. Like, she really just does not care to have respect. Like, we were at my mom's house living with her, and she still was, you know, like, I don't know, if it had been the other way around, I was not going to try to argue with her mom, you know, like, it was like a respecting your elders kind of thing. Even though you're not a child, you should still respect your elders.
Well, and beyond that, it's not just about respecting your elders, it's about respecting the person who is putting a roof over your head. You know, she's taking care of you because, you know, you don't have a job. You really don't even have your own money. Your wages were being garnished anyway. So this person is literally taking care of you, and you don't care that you're disrespecting them. That is so rude. So many more thoughts, but I'm just going to keep them to myself for now, just so we can get through this very long video.
And my mom was also very stubborn and very argumentative as well, so it was a lot. Going back and watching these videos, which I just watched, like, I don't know what you would call it, but I didn't watch each individual video. I watched, like, completions, I don't know.
Compilations. That's really not getting the whole picture, Destiny. Have you since watched the actual content that Amber put out? Compilations are great. They're very entertaining, but they definitely don't tell the whole story.
I don't know what word you would call that, but where they're all together. I don't remember the name exactly of the one I was watching, but it's in my library, and I will tag them in the bottom. But I watched the same one for the most part, just trying to go back and relive some of this. But watching these videos really made me miss my mom. I really wish Alexis could have met my mom. I don't know, my mom just would have loved her. We took my mom to the Cheesecake Factory. We were all excited about the cheesecake. That was when the Cheesecake Factory obsession began, you know, like we were just going so much.
The Cheesecake Factory and the orange chicken. And the thing is, the Cheesecake Factory is not inexpensive. Like, you go there, you're paying a lot of money. So again, it's more just of who is paying for all of these restaurants and all this food that is very not cheap. Because Amber just doesn't have the money. Destiny doesn't have the money. They're getting it from somewhere.
At this point, she had 5,000 subscribers.
Okay, so that's a 3,000 sub gain in what? A couple of months? She started her mukbangs, and this is what happened. Very interesting storyline indeed.
And then another thing, I don't know if I've already said this, maybe it was in the previous video. I never watched her videos when we were together, or even after we broke up. I just didn't. You know, like, when we were together, obviously, I was living the video. So, you know,
Yes, however, this is also the same as what happened with Beck, right? Beck never saw really any of the videos that Amber created. Amber didn't let Beck watch them. I think the only thing that Beck said that they had seen were some of the ones that Amber showed them that, you know, were painting Amber in a bad light, so that it just reinforced Amber's story about how horrible reaction channels are and you treat her unfairly. And it really is a form of manipulation. Again, here, I don't know, but I wonder if, and maybe Destiny has said this since, but I do wonder if it was just like with Beck, Amber wasn't allowing Destiny to see the content. And I feel like Destiny's the kind of personality who might have actually done it anyway if she wanted to, but Amber putting her off from doing so, you know, was enough. And Destiny just wasn't interested. As she said, you know, she was living the videos, but not really, because we all know that the way that Amber makes her videos is her narrative. And just because Destiny was experiencing a specific type of life with Amber doesn't mean that was the life that Amber was depicting in her videos. Again, it's that manipulation. It's Amber manipulating her audience into thinking her life is one way, and Amber manipulating her partners into not watching those videos. So, you know, she's always writing this narrative and she's got to go in two directions. I'm tired just talking about that because of all the lies that Amber has to hold up, or at least try to. We all know she eventually gives herself up eventually anyway. However, it's still a lot of work just trying to.
I didn't think to go back and watch her stuff. So some of the stuff that she would lie about, that you guys, that she admitted to, whatever, that I'm letting out, I didn't know that was going on. I didn't know what she was telling you guys.
Boom. There it is. Okay, so she did at least say here that she understands that Amber was lying now. But has she rewatched those? Is that what we're going to do a little bit of with her presently? I'm not sure when I'm going to get this video out and whether or not Destiny will have actually gone live yet. We'll see. But yeah, I do wonder if, since Destiny made these videos in 2023, has she actually watched more of Amber's actual content? Or will she be reacting to it cold? Because that does change things. It's interesting.
Ignore my dogs. They want to come in here and they're running around. Amberlynn wanted me to be super involved in the vlogs, but I was either really busy or just awkward. When she started doing the mukbangs, when my mom was around, my mom really just didn't understand it, and I think they got into spats about it sometimes. So I think that's why she ended up only doing it basically when she was home alone, or if it was just me and her or whatever.
Oh, we know.
I noticed a lot too that Amberlynn in her mukbangs will be like, well, I don't really like this that much, but then continues to eat it anyway and eat like a lot of it. Like, I'm like, if you don't like it, I don't know about you, but when I don't like something, I'm not going to touch it again. I'm not even going to attempt to be like, well, it's food. No.
That didn't really feel like a full sentence, like a complete sentence. What was the rest of that? I guess she was just saying that it was weird that Amber did continue eating things even if she said she didn't like them, but there's got to be more to that. Finish the sentence, Destiny.
She announced that she only weighed 480 pounds at this point. That Mexican restaurant that we went to a lot around this time, it was called El Cazador. It ended up burning down a couple of years ago, and it was very sad. We started job searching at this point. And this is also when we got Jax. My mom found him. He was dumped on the side of the interstate, and my mom, there was like a divot on this highway interstate thing that her and my godmom would always take their lunch break at, because they cleaned houses. They would take their lunch break right there. And they could hear him meowing over there, eating, and their music going on the radio, and they found him and she brought him back to us.
Oh, well, there you go. There's Jack's origin story for you. So sad.
Let's see. She says at some point that we were going to take the cats to the vet, and that we had taken Wasabi to the vet. I never took these cats to the vet. Wasabi came with his shots, and with Jax, I think once he was with me and Dana, I went to the feed store and got his shots and just did them myself. Because you could do that. You can still do that, I'm pretty sure. You can get your shots at Tractor Supply if you need to.
And there you have it. Yet another set of lies that Amber likes to tell is the fact that she brings her pets to the vet when she doesn't. Hearing Destiny say it and actually confirming that for us, that's the stuff we want to hear about Destiny, because we all have our theories about Amber, but they are just theories until we, have proof about them. And since Destiny was there for this, we can believe her. That's up to you. It's still deciding whether or not you want to believe Destiny's side of the story. And that's fair. Believe what you want to believe. But me personally, I am way more inclined to believe Destiny about that than I am Amber.
We did end up taking them to the vet. It was after me and her broke up, because I remember me and Dana were together when we did it. So
the entirety of their relationship, the entire time, she did not bring her pets to the vet. These pets of hers are not being taken care of. And there Amber is telling everyone that she's taking them to the vet. How long has she been lying about that? Yeah, you can be the judge of that, but I know how I feel about it.
The whole time we were together, we did not go to the vet. I know she said that we did, and I didn't realize she was telling people that, so.
And that right there is why you have to watch Amber's videos directly if you're going to react to her. Because yes, compilation videos are fantastic. I enjoy them. I watch them. But those to me are more just, I want to have a laugh, or I want to look at something specifically over time. It's not about learning who Amber is as a person, because in my opinion, you have to read in between the lines and look in between the scenes and in the down and the boring times in order to really understand what's happening with Amber and the lies that she's telling and kind of the bigger picture. Man, it opens your eyes to the reality of who she really is if you put in the work and actually watch all that content, which I don't recommend for everybody. Let's not give her the views. Obviously, we can't right now, but if they're ever back online, I know a lot of my subs and my viewers do not watch Amber directly. I'm always so glad to hear it, but I just think it's so important for someone like Destiny or Beck or whoever, people who are actually in Amber's life, to see the content that she was putting out, because it was telling such a different story from reality.
Then I also noticed that Amberlynn said something about being scared to be at the movie theater a lot. We went to the movie theater so much, it was getting ridiculous.
Destiny, you're doing so much better right now. Oh my God, you are actually dropping truths that we wanted to hear. So thank you. It took us almost an hour to get here, but this is good, okay? If you're listening to me, I'm sure you're not, but if you are, because it's a video about you and you just might, this is good. This is the good stuff. So tell us more about what we don't know.
Let's see. Oh, this is still taking so long. Okay, we've not got too much left. We went to a party at my mom's friend's house. We were there. It was going to be kind of late there, and we ended up kind of like leaving abruptly because the girl's house that we were at, it was actually her husband. It caused a lot of stuff. he kept being super rude to Amberlynn. Like, he was saying some just vulgar stuff to her about her weight and stuff. And then he started hitting on her and saying that he wanted to, I'm not going to say this word on YouTube, but you know, he wanted to have sexual relations with her, I guess, is what you want to say. He kept saying it. We ended up leaving. It was a big thing. And
All right, look, I obviously wasn't there and I don't know what truly happened, but if that is a true story, wow, that is terrible. That is so disgusting. What horrible, horrible behavior. And unfortunately, it happens all too often. It's not an uncommon story. It happens to so many people. It really does.
it was what it was. It was a lot of drama. You guys kept saying that she had diabetic sores. I don't know. They were mosquito bites. I have scars all over my legs from mosquito bites.
And excoriation, perhaps?
We started hanging out with my cousin Cameron a lot. Cameron, he's probably the same height as me, if not a little bit taller now. He was kind of short in the videos. We got hired for the job that we were going to be having, but we couldn't start. They said the soonest would have been August, but we didn't know what time in August, so.
This is now the second job. And I know you know where I'm going with this as far as it's actually a form of control because, you know, Amber wants to keep an eye on Destiny and thus be with her as many hours as the day as possible.
I start to eat a lot of cream cheese and cucumber sandwiches that Amberlynn starts talking about. I tried them at a baby shower once and I loved them. So I just, you know, it is what it is.
Oh yeah, a little stack of finger sandwiches on one of those tiered plates all fancy like. I've had that before.
Okay, this is the last bit of June and I'm gonna stop because this video is getting to be like 50 minutes long.
And I made 2 hours out of it. Sorry, maybe, not sorry, I don't know.
Amberlynn didn't want to get a real job. She only wanted to do YouTube.
At this point, she's doing mukbangs and getting more and more subs, and she's now actually monetized, right? If she's already starting to see a good amount of money come in, Amber would not want to get a real job, in air quotes, a different job, a more regular job is how I prefer to call it. I do understand that. I just think it's unfortunate what that did to Amber, you know, as far as insulating her from the rest of the world, really, for her entire adult life. Oof.
I don't know, we just kind of went back and forth on it a lot, but then she really ended up liking the job that we were going to have, so she ended up taking it, obviously. We tried to get her a medical card for Kentucky at one point because she was having some health concerns, but you had to have a job. You have to have a job to get a medical card. You can't just get it, and you have to have proof of income. So, and we didn't have a job yet, so.
What's a medical card? Are we talking about just medical insurance? Is that what she's talking about? Or is there something else that exists that I don't know about? Real question. I'm not really sure what Destiny means here. So enlighten me if you know.
It was what it was. She started talking about ASMR a lot at this point, and ASMR freaks me out. I do not like it. It overwhelms the crap out of me.
It is kind of polarizing. I feel like you like it or you hate it. But also, she was diagnosed with ASMR. Those are the moments, people. Those are the ones.
You also see her vlogging in the car a lot without me being in there. It's because we would go to, it didn't matter if it was Walmart, whatever store we were at. When we were done shopping and we were deciding to leave, it was me at the checkout with everything and her going to the car and sitting and waiting. That's just how it was.
Yeah, because now she's too embarrassed to use the scooters and she doesn't want to walk. So she's not going to. She's just going to sit in the car. And that way, it also gives her alone time to be able to lie to the camera without anybody hearing her, right? So she gets 2 things out of that.
So that is January to June. So I'll do July to December, obviously, in the next one. But this video is getting to be really long. So, all right, I'll see you guys in part 2.
All right. Thank you, Destiny. This was better. The second half of this, I think, was better than the first half. Not all of it was amazing, but I think overall, in general, second half was definitely better. So hopefully part 2, Destiny's part 2 is actually going to continue in this direction. I honestly don't remember. It's been so long since I watched these. Now we can wrap up this video because we have seen the entire part 1 at this point. We can take a look at the comments real quick. And then we're going to have a Corgi Cam, so stick around for that. And yeah, we can wrap this video up. So let's take a look at the comments now. Here in 2025. Oh, me too, Chris. Here in 2025, it's the beckoning era, and watching this now is hilarious. Oh man. When Beck came back and did all those Q&As, that gave us so much entertainment and content for so long. I mean, it also brought, a lot of emotions, a lot of anger to the table. But what a time that was, huh? I hope Beck is doing all right. I know they have been going through so much lately. It has been heartbreaking, honestly, following along with their updates. It's like one thing after another. Oh, man. I think their last update was actually a little bit more positive. I don't remember exactly what it said, but I do remember thinking maybe things were turning around just a little bit. I pushed a child out of the way to get here as soon as I could. Dana pregnant and Destiny spilling tea. What a time to be on YouTube. I feel for your mom. Imagine a 500-pound toddler who doesn't shower yelling at you in your own home. Disrespecting you in your own home. That's so twisted. She never even grew out of it. Pulled the same crap with Beck's mom. More proof she can't go a single second without being a horrible person. Royal Roses. You hit the nail on the head. Damn, that is so true. So well put. I wonder if that's why Amber's grandmother told her she couldn't go back and live with her. Yeah, I think that is pretty much exactly what happened. She is impossible to live with. So disrespectful. I hope Beck spills the tea soon, too. Oh, guess what? They did. They definitely came back and gave us all the things. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's give it a scroll here. That Nick guy was weird. Yes, I said my piece on that one for sure. Or Destiny, we need more. Amber seems like such a rude, entitled brat. So of course she'd fight the person who let her stay in her house for free. Right? This is the best thing having to do with Amber in 2 years. 2 years later after this, she's totally gone. She is off YouTube, demonetized, and deleted. Well, probably just privated, but Would love to know more about the spats between your mom and ALR, like specific examples. Yep, I'm not the only one who feels that way too, I guess. All right. It was the best era. I think a lot of people think that the Destiny era was, I don't know if it's like best is really the right word for it, but the most entertaining, the most interesting to watch, the most to see and talk about. There was a lot in the Beck era too. Personally, the Crystal era for me is really where I learned the most about Amber and who she truly is as a person. But I know that most people didn't watch all of her videos from then, and that mask that she wore fooled a lot of people. But yeah, that Crystal era, there was a lot there to learn. It's so interesting to hear the story recapped from the perspective of another person who was there. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, definitely. Because we can never lean on Amber to tell us the whole story. She's gonna be lying about it. Maybe all of it, maybe some of it. But yeah, there's definitely lies. So basically Destiny confirmed everything we already knew. We theorized. We had our gut instincts. But we didn't have confirmation necessarily. All of the exes coming back and doing that for us. Ooh, it's satisfying in some ways and, kind of horrific in others, I guess. Pappy had a heart attack. ALR 2019. Glad Pappy is doing good. I guess this person, What the Cluck, also thought that, Amber just messed up when she said that and Pappy actually did have a stroke. Girl, I want all the parts in one video. You've seen those compilation videos we all watch of ALR. We like long videos. Talk away and give us all that tea. She just made a lot of different videos, but it was long, and she's coming back now for more. I'm really intrigued as to what she has to say now. The reality is she just talked about what she personally thought to talk about versus taking questions and, actually getting into the details of these things. So hopefully we're going to do that this time around. LMAO, I just realized that ALR lied and said that the ASMR diagnosis was a joke, yet she was actually doing the opposite behind the scenes. Yeah. Just want to say thanks for this. I don't care if you're doing this for side cash, wedding money, revenge, to unburden your heart, or a mix of all of the above. You're satisfying my curiosity, so I'm good. Subbed and liked. Thanks, girl. Yeah, totally. You know what? I don't really care either. People are all allowed to come on YouTube and make money. It's okay to do it. And if people want to see the content you're making, great. Make that money, And honestly, if it's not hurting Destiny to go through all this, if it's not bringing up this trauma that she wanted to keep buried, after what Amber put her through, Destiny deserves to make some money on YouTube. That is for damn sure, in my opinion. Plantar fasciitis. You're confirming so much that we've always thought. Honestly, you can make these videos 3 hours long, and I'd watch the entire thing, LOL. A lot of us love these long videos. Well, that's a good thing, because this one of mine... I hope things are going good for you. Oh, hello. I know you. I started watching Amber when she was with you. I've been waiting for this tea ever since then. Thanks, Destiny. Now we all just need some tea from Beck. And yeah, this also confirms kind of what I was saying earlier about people really just didn't watch the Crystal era. And even Destiny said in this video that she only had 2,000 subs by this time, about halfway into their relationships. So, I mean, what? She had a few hundred during the Crystal era. People really didn't go back and watch it because, let's be honest, it's not like riveting content. You really need to look between the lines even more during that era to really see who she was and still is, but I think probably still living with Crystal's parents. She just wasn't fully out of that shell of just being horrible out in the open and not caring. That really happened in this era and got worse and worse with each one, so yeah, anyway. I have a lot of videos on the Crystal era, by the way, so if anybody's curious, go back into my video collection and watch a few of those because, yeah, there's a lot to learn. Please, for the love of God, do reaction-style vlogs watching her old vlogs. I'm here for this, by the way. Well, that is what Destiny says she's going to be doing now. Maybe it took a couple years, but maybe she's going to do it. We're going to have to wait and find out. All right, one more big scroll. Let's see what we got. Do a few more here. You worked harder on this video than ALR did on her entire channel. I remember Amber said she had 6 of the same bras. Turns out it was just 2. Not surprised, honestly. So it was 6. She'd point in some direction and be like, and there's 2 in the laundry and 2 over there in a pile and, only ever be able to show 2 on screen at once. Right. Amber not taking her animals to the vet while claiming to? Love that for her. Oh, that was Royal Roses again too. Yeah, I agree with your sentiments so far, Royal. Of course she didn't take her pets to the vet. Of course. I'm just glad you didn't let her gaslight and silence you. You're welcome to speak your truth. This isn't exactly true. She did gaslight, and she did kind of silence Destiny a little bit as far as what we were talking about earlier, right? About not seeing the video, so not knowing what Amber was actually putting out into the world about Destiny and about their lives together. In a way that kind of is silencing Destiny because she doesn't have a chance to actually defend herself or refute lies, that sort of thing. It's not exactly silencing someone. I know I'm kind of stretching that word a bit, but I guess let's call it she still was manipulated. I guess at this point, it's good that Destiny was able to see that at least in part, maybe not in full, but at least in part, and was coming out to tell her side of the story. So yes, I do agree with kind of the sentiment of this comment. This is interesting because to hear Amber tell it, she and Destiny were so in love. No arguments, the perfect relationship. That goes to show what a liar she is. Love that for Pookie. Yep. And that's just it. The narrative that Amber shows us in her videos is pretty much never the truth. She wonders why she has a bad relationship with her audience. Well, pretty simply put, all she does is lie to us. So, yeah. The time she lived with you and your mother is still the most infuriating era for me. She was despectful for complaining about the condition of the house, the cooking, finding excuses to not help unload the U-Haul, taking over the room you two shared with the endless bottles of body sprays and scarves, etc. The damage she must have done to the flooring and structure of that home your stepdad's brother built haunts me every day. Haunting you every day is a little melodramatic, perhaps, but yeah, in general, I do agree how despectful Amber truly was. I mean, it wasn't just in this time, this kind of is who she is and always has been. She's ruined houses and other people's belongings the entire time she's been on YouTube, starting in Crystal's house. Oh my God, that broken bed, remember? And then she made them buy this super expensive other one. Ooh, that's going back in time a bit. But yeah, that's just who Amber is. Let's just do one more here. Amber should be thanking you for giving her channel content. Actually, that's a great one to end on for Destiny's video because it's true. Without side characters, as we have seen basically the entirety of this year, 2025, she is so boring. It's truly endlessly unbearable to watch Amber when she has no one else in her life to actually bring any kind of interesting to her content. And Destiny definitely did that. Beck did that. Her roommates did that. It's everyone but Amber that brings anything entertaining to her content. So yes, agree. Destiny, however you feel about her, right? She still brought content to Amber. All right, let's end there. Now we can go have ourselves a Corgi Cam and release the Amberverse for the day. All right, that is going to be it for today's video. Now remember, Destiny is still not finished. We still have the second half of 2016 to get through, as well as a video, hang on, what did she call it? The Truth of the Breakup is its own video. That's about a half hour long, so I'm sure we can do that in one sitting. And then we have a couple other things to take a look at as well, including, I'm gonna see if I can get my hands on the live streams that Amber did kind of in response to all of this, because that's going to be some pure entertainment value, of course. And as always, I wanted to say thank you to my channel members. My shout out today goes to you guys. I love seeing you in the comments, and you have been so supportive lately. Well, you've always been supportive, so I appreciate you. Now, if you liked this video, I do hope you'll consider giving it a like, leaving a comment down below, or hitting subscribe if you haven't. And if you want to keep watching, I will, as always, leave a few videos on screen to choose from. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Amberlynn did not shower the whole time we were at my mom's.